The President of the United States sits at the center of global authority. From this desk, one person commands nuclear arsenals, dictates the movement of fleets, and shapes the trajectory of the world economy. But the highest office on earth offers no shield against the coldest realities of life. There is a persistent irony here. The same title that grants a man authority over millions often leaves him uniquely vulnerable to tragedy. History shows that the weight of the presidency doesn't just rest on a leader's shoulders, it frequently crushes the person beneath the title. In 1853, Franklin Pierce had just secured the ultimate political prize. He was weeks away from his inauguration, standing at the summit of American power. Then, just weeks before his inauguration, while traveling with his family, his train car derailed and rolled down a steep embankment. Pierce crawled from the wreckage only to find his 11-year-old son, Benjamin. The boy had been crushed, nearly decapitated in front of his father. His wife, Jane, believed God had taken their child as payment for her husband's ambition. Pierce entered the White House a broken man, refusing to even place his hand on a Bible during his oath. By the 20th century, the office came with the full weight of modern medical support, yet these resources still failed to protect the family inside. In 1924, Calvin Coolidge's 16-year-old son played a game of tennis on the White House courts. A simple blister on his toe became infected. Without antibiotics, the infection triggered sepsis. Even with the best doctors in the country at his bedside, the president could only watch his son die. Coolidge later realized that when his son died, the power and glory of his office died along with him. Lyndon B. Johnson spent decades chasing the presidency, but he eventually found himself trapped by the very authority he sought. As commander-in-chief, LBJ sat at the top of the most formidable military machine in history. In January 1968, the Tet Offensive exposed the limits of that machine. Over 80,000 North Vietnamese forces launched a series of coordinated surprise attacks. They struck dozens of targets simultaneously, even breaching the U.S. Embassy in Saigon. The scale of the uprising shattered claims that the war was winnable. In the public's eyes, the president's control of the situation had evaporated. Defeated by a conflict he couldn't end, the man who wanted to lead the country for another 4 years surrendered his power instead, announcing he would not run for re-election. Sometimes the ruin comes from within. Richard Nixon held an iron grip on the executive branch, but his leadership was eroded by suspicion. Nixon's drive to protect his electoral majority led him to authorize the very crimes that would eventually strip him of his office. The smoking gun tape revealed he had weaponized the CIA to block an FBI investigation, directly subverting the law to protect his reputation. When his own party warned he would be removed by force, Nixon chose to walk away, becoming the only president to ever resign. The same tactics Nixon used to safeguard his position were the exact instruments used to dismantle his career. We often view the presidency as a historical victory, but for many who hold it, the job functions as a high-stakes pressure cooker. It is an office where fathers lose children, commanders lose wars, and architects of power lose their dignity. The title of president promises ultimate control, yet the reality of the office often leaves the person holding it more vulnerable than when they started. Tell us which historical tragedy we should investigate next in the comments. And if you want more stories behind the legends, hit subscribe.